Hey Branson, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
All right, thanks. How long you been doing your business?
I've been doing it since high school. So I've been doing it since 94, 96. So
Wow.
I started I went to DH Conley. Um so in high school I was sneaking into the clubs and performing songs and DJing. And from there I became a DJ at ECU's radio station. From there, I started like a little label called A Camp Productions, which morphed into A Camp Digital, where we do digital content for artists and companies around the area. Um, that then turned into ENC 96, which I said I will make it into a radio station because I have all these artists coming through the studio recording. And now I'm trying to take that and make it into something that we can market these artists, their merchandise, their music, even them as artists with the live streaming to different platforms.
Wow, cool. Do you work with selling merchandise for the brands, for the different bands or
Uh, Not now, but I have in the past. But we were doing more person to person contact at events
okay,
than online.
okay. Um, well, I'll tell you about something you may want to look into. So we have a relationship with a company called Guten, Gooten. And Guten is based in New York. Their CEO was one of my students in a previous life. He's a real good guy, and he'll be hopefully one of our guest speakers. Um, they are a print-on-demand operation, so
Okay.
they will uh, connect to your e-commerce site, and you don't have to pay any money or predict inventory. And they have hundreds and hundreds of different SKUs. You can upload the design or however you want to go about that, and then they will drop ship it to your customer. Um, and
Wow.
they actually have a separate division for bands and acts like what you do. That's what
Okay.
they do. So you might be able to connect with that and offer that service to your acts, and it won't cost you any money up front, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's Gooten, Guten.com,
G.
Ooten. Yeah, and so they work with I can't remember, but they're like $100 million company. They're pretty good size, and they work with a bunch of well-known brands now. I think they work with Fanatics, if you know them. I think Fanatics is a big athletic oriented. I think they work with Nike, Major League Baseball, a bunch of different organizations. But one thing that they do, a couple things they do that's really interesting. One, um, all of their production is in the country where the customer is located. So, for example, if you're U.S. based, then all of the personalization, product shipping, all that is within the United States. So you don't have to wait for a shipment from China, for example. And they actually have operations all around the world. So wherever you are in the world, they will ship to where you are locally as you can be. So I like that a lot. The other thing is they have a pretty wide selection. They have a lot of SKUs of products. They actually run like collections for brands. Like brands might have I don't know, a summer collection or a beach collection or whatever. They will actually execute that for a brand and do all of the pieces of that to include the production and the shipping and the billing and all that kind of stuff. So it's really easy for brands to offer this. And one of the statistics that I learned is that 81% of all sales of merchandise in the last 12 months have been in support of small businesses.
Mm.
Whether it's a restaurant or an event or something where people feel like, hey, I want to support this business and I'll buy this stuff with a knowing that the profit goes to that organization. So that's something to keep in mind. They actually have integrations with Shopify and BigCommerce and some others, so where it's automatic. So literally from the time somebody clicks on it until they buy it, you don't touch it. You don't have to touch the product. You don't have to inventory it. They have an account manager that's assigned to you, and that person's job is to worry about all that stuff for you. So for those of you that are just joining, what we're talking about is the idea of offering merchandise and logoed products, personalized products in support of your brand. And we have a relationship with a company called Guten, Gooten. Guten is out of New York. Their CEO is a longtime friend of mine. He was one of my students when I was at JMU a million years ago. He's now the CEO. He's already passed me, but he's really good, and they have a very significant operation. And the way it works is you post your products that you want to sell on your website. Then you don't have to predict how many and what size. They do all of that for you. So it's called print on demand. So they will make the product for you, and that includes cups all the way up to, I mean, you name it. I think they have, I don't know what the last number I heard, something like 500 SKUs that they offer, stock keeping units. So, but just about everything you can think of. And if it's something in particular, like for example, maybe Alignment Dancewear might want to have, take a look at Guten possibly selling your product. They certainly entertain that, and I can get you an audience with the CEO, and that might be an opportunity. But what's really good about them is the localness of them. Some of these companies, they actually are making their product in China, so it could take 8 weeks or 12 weeks for your customer to get something, and that pisses them off, as you can imagine. So that's one good thing. And then the other thing is, they're a very high quality organization. They have, when you go to their website, you'll see the customers that they have. I believe they do business with Nike and Major League Baseball and people like that. So they're a first string operation. And the other thing that Brian does, if your particular situation, he goes, well, we're really not the right one. He'll tell you who he thinks you should go to. Like one of the ones, some of you may have heard of a company called Printful, Printful. Printful is actually based in Charlotte. So if you have a pretty small demand, Brian will recommend you go to Printful. The other thing about Printful is they also are integrated with Shopify and a lot of the other e-commerce sites, and that there's a lot to be said for that, because dealing with inventory, sizes, design, colors, all that kind of stuff, it's a complete guessing game. At least in my case, I wouldn't have a clue what amounts of what you should have. And with this process, you don't have to do that. And because he is US based, you don't have to wait a real long time either for the product to get done. And generally speaking, they strive to get everything out the door within 2 days. That's their kind of standard thing that they do or try to do. Of course, I'll say that, and you'll order and it'll take 20 weeks, and you'll hate me. And so I don't care. That's just the way it goes sometimes. All right. So today what I wanted to do is really just kind of go around and talk to you all about kind of what's currently number one on your hit parade related to your business that's on your mind, that you're struggling with or you're thinking about. And don't be bashful, if it's web related or whatever it is. So I'm just going to start kind of on my screen. I've got Rachel and Dan here. So I'm going to ask you guys to go first and tell me a little bit about, and I'm hoping all of us can share in this and learn, because we all are probably facing very similar types of things. You guys, Rachel?
Hey, everyone. So a lot of you might have already heard, but we're R&D Farms, and we're starting Country Kitchen, and it's a shared commercial kitchen space. And it's going to be a little bit more in depth than a typical commercial kitchen. And this is for people that need a place to start a food-based or beauty-based business, but they don't have the equipment necessary. Perhaps it's a home-based business that would like to expand into a larger space. Or what's growing as a trend are the ghost kitchens and the virtual kitchens, and they can lease space or equipment from us to expand and offer their services in different areas. Right now, we're based near Salisbury, which is right outside of Charlotte. And we're going to be looking at offering, in addition to the actual equipment, we're also looking to offer services such as sous chef prep services, so they can hire us as needed if they don't have the time, or maybe it's just a one-person operation and they could use an extra set of hands. Or if they're scaling and they don't necessarily want to invest in a huge staff, they can use us as needed, or they can hire us full-time. Some of our trained staff members is the plan at the moment.
So currently our pinch points, we're working through the distribution network software, and we're working through the software, the marketplace software, which is kind of a combined shopping cart type system that multiple tenants you could group into one delivery, so you can order from multiple tenants at the same time. And then the delivery software, almost a replacement for the Instacart model, which is one of the main reasons that these food enterprises are failing, is the large expense that Instacart takes off of the ticket. Our model is to not only offer it to our tenants, but also offer it to other local businesses. Whether you're in the food related industry or not, we're going to hopefully act as your local delivery source. So the software to control that's pretty involved. We're at the app stage, well, not app, but we're at the software development stage, marketplace stage. And then once that's smoothed out, we plan to start looking for local political resources to try to help find some good spaces, maybe some job grant programs that we can tie into, any assistance of that nature.
Yeah, one of the core ideas that we have is job creation. So we're helping entrepreneurs expand or even become entrepreneurs for the first time without having to outlay tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we're also looking to be a job resource for local people that want to learn a new skill, want to learn a new trade. And then through the network of growing entrepreneurs, we can then help place people into these new jobs.
Okay. So talk to me a little bit about your software. What are you building it from scratch? Or
Yes, in our other business, we have a large development team that we work with, and they're helping us pin together the idea that we need for the development. Doing the development services across the large city like Charlotte or whatnot, it's a little bit different than A to B delivery service. We actually need to use a staging service, and finding plugins or existing apps that have that function, they're just not available. It's all proprietary builds.
Okay. Well, I'll throw you a couple suggestions just for what it's worth.
Perfect.
One, are you familiar with a company called Share Tribe?
Share what?
Share Tribe.
No.
Share Tribe is kind of the largest indie marketplace software developer. They're out of Finland, and they actually power a zillion marketplaces. They're kind of a no brand, no label type of place, and I'm not even sure, they might be totally open source. I can't remember all the ins and outs, but they're specifically designed for what you're talking about in terms of functionality, and your developers might be able to grab that and move faster than doing it all, from scratch.
Yeah, we hope to not have to build the marketplace side of it at all. We just want to concentrate on the distribution side of it.
Yeah, check it out and see if Share Tribe can offer you anything. The other one that I've seen people use, let me see. Sorry, Adobe Ecommerce. I'm looking this up real quick because I can never remember their name. This is a company that was bought by Adobe. Let's see, I'm trying to remember the name of it here. Magento, Magento. That's another marketplace software, although it's quite a bit more of a heavy lift, more commercial, I guess, than ShareTribe.
Okay.
There's a company, you want to see it in action. There's a company called Doorstep Market, which I think I've mentioned before. It's
Yes.
doorstep.market, and you can see the way they do the individual merchants and the billing and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of interesting. It might be helpful for you.
Perfect.
Those two things. One other thing that's happening that I'll just mention, and that's the idea of headless e-commerce. Are you familiar with that term?
No.
So headless e-commerce is a software that's intended for the what the consumer sees to be indifferent. In other words, whether it's a mobile device, whether it's a website, whatever it is,
Sure.
it works with regular software kind of under the blanket. So, for example, if you're using Shopify, you can use headless e-commerce as the front end and Shopify as the back end. And I'll send you some. I can't think of the actual players. They got some new names. A lot of them are out of Europe. But what it does, it makes your website also an app. So it's kind of combines. It becomes a progressive web app, PWA, when called for on a phone or an iPad. So
Okay.
that's something. I'll get you a link to the players in that space. Maybe it'll save some time.
I appreciate that. And any information you may have on anybody local to the Salisbury, Charlotte area that in the political sphere that might be looking for a jobs creation program.
Well, I think we want to connect you to the North Carolina Rural Center.
Okay.
It's ncruralcenter.org, and they have a lot going on in this space. I'm a board member there, so I'll connect you to the right person there, and you can talk about it. That's something that they are really interested in, and there's a lot going on in that space right now in North Carolina. They're a nonprofit. They're not a state organization. They're a nonprofit, but they're kind of quasi-governmental almost.
Perfect. Thank you.
So, all right. So now I'll go to Alignment Dancewear. What are you guys working on?
Hey, Dennis, hold on.
Yeah.
He might want to get in touch with Sherry Barefoot also.
Good idea.
With the NCDA and let her know what's going on.
Absolutely. I'll send them that contact information. Sherry works for the state agriculture department, but she runs something called the Specialty Food Association, the North Carolina Specialty Food Association. I'm actually speaking at their meeting in June. There are a lot of smaller, I should say, specialty food producers in the state. I think there might be like 1,000 of them. I'm not sure. Chris would know. There's a lot of them. And Sherry is kind of the executive director, even though she's an employee of the state. That's her thing. She runs that Specialty Food Association. So she'd be a real good contact for you as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, Alignment, you're up.
So we make dancewear, and our current focus market is college-age dancers, especially here in Greenville. But our secondary market would be like high school dance students and younger dance students at dance studios.
Okay.
And we offer ready-to-ship and custom dancewear products. And one of the biggest things we're working on right now is expanding our market and our exposure while still being able to keep up with the amount of orders we get. We're still full-time students, but we're hoping to grow so that by the time we graduate in a year, we can kind of use this as a way to sustain ourselves while we're pursuing a career in dance. So we don't have to, get a job as a hostess or something we're not really going to enjoy as much. But just right now it's hard because we don't want to grow too fast and not be able to keep up while we're in school. And then something else we're currently working on is like financing and how to, I guess, keep it the most organized and how to increase profit while still keeping the, leotards and tops nice quality and well made. I think we want to try to keep our products handmade because then we can be a little more ethical. We're making like
Uh-huh.
cards out of some of our scrap fabric that are kind of a little more color blocked so we don't have as much waste. And we try to use every bit of our materials as possible. And then we're also working on being inclusive and diverse because the dance world is getting a lot more accepting. So we want to be able to provide plus size products and products that match every dancer's skin tone.
Okay. Are you in a situation where there's a balance right now between your ability to produce and what you're selling, or is there a mismatch?
For the most part, there's a balance, but then sometimes on like Christmas is definitely a heavier time where we get a lot of orders because a lot of girls are asking for dancewear for Christmas. And then it's harder to keep up. But for the most part, on I guess you could say like normal months, we're able to keep up.
Okay. Do you get behind only at Christmas? Is that really the only time at this point that your demand exceeds your ability to produce?
The pandemic has definitely proved a little bit of it, I guess, issue more so at the beginning. Like last summer, we weren't able to keep up as much because we had a lot of problems where materials that we ordered would take months to come. And so we'd kind of just be sitting because we didn't have materials, but we had orders.
Yeah.
But that's definitely gotten better since then. But things definitely sometimes are still slower.
Yeah. Do you, when you say handmade, so you're literally creating these garments there in Greenville by hand?
Yeah, so currently we're actually like working on something. So we have our sewing machines and then we have like our fabric where we're just cutting out and sewing the different products.
Where are you? Where is that physically located?
We're at the IDL, the Innovation
Okay.
Lab in Greenville right now.
I thought I recognized that. I wasn't sure. It looks like you're going to take that place over.
We're close to it.
Okay, so right now you're really trying to get to a place where you're sustainable at a level that you're comfortable with. Is that marketing oriented? Do you need to have a better organized outreach for marketing to your targets?
Yes, I think that and like getting exposed to other places, I think we're having a hard time breaking out and knowing like how to get access to the other markets and other people that would be interested in our products.
Is your typical customer the individual or the institution that the people work for or dance for?
It's the individual is our main focus, but we're hoping to in the future get into like institutions, so like colleges or dance studios. This past semester, we made costumes for one of the dance program at ECU's pieces for the spring show. So we're hoping to do that a little bit more in the future. But currently, the main customers are just individuals.
Okay. And how did they find you? On the web or on Instagram or what is the way they find you?
A little bit of both, and then a lot was also through like connections and I guess like word of mouth, like people who knew me or people who knew some of my friends, and then they'd be like, "Hey, you should go check out this dancewear brand and order from them."
Okay. Do you see a lot of orders on your website or your social media? Is that where most of the orders come from, or is it mostly word of mouth?
Some of both, I would say, probably about even. More Instagram than our website because our website's a little bit newer than our Instagram. We've just had the Instagram longer, but probably half and half with online versus in like just word of mouth.
Do you think it would help you to go live with something like Comment Sold and show people how your stuff's made or how their order is made? Is that something that would help, you think?
I think yes.
Okay. Anything else that you can think of that the group could add?
No, yeah, I would say the only other thing is keeping track of our finances and making sure like we're keeping all of our money straight, and because we don't really know anything about the financial side of running a small business yet.
You just send all your money to Dennis Trotz and he takes care of it. What do you have a bookkeeper or an accountant or anything like that?
I was supposed to meet with an accountant this week, but we had to reschedule due to unforeseen circumstances. But I'm meeting with one hopefully next week.
Take a look at QuickBooks. They have a live accounting function. So you can have an actual accountant help you with your QuickBooks, which I think is awesome myself, but I don't know, how good it is and how much it costs, but I like it. All right, well, thank you all. Keep us posted on your progress.
Thank you.
All right, Quandale, you're next, buddy. You're a Printful guy, huh?
Yeah.
Tell us about
Shopify.
that.
Yeah, Shopify and Printful. I've been pretty pleased. I think I echo what you said. Being based in Charlotte, they have a pretty quick turnaround. I think one of the bumps that everyone was having online, of course, was COVID, but everything is pretty much leveled off now. I think they've expanded not only in the Charlotte area, but also nationwide and overseas as well. One of my personal challenges, I work full time, so it's finding the time to invest. When I first, the Shopify process, it was pretty hands-on and user-friendly as it relates to initially designing the site. However, it seems mine seems a little lazy because of finding the time to be able to just give it a little pizzazz, I think, for lack of a better term, and to make it more user-friendly. Then also to be able to connect some of my social media. I haven't been able to figure those pieces out, connecting my social media sites to the web page as well.
Okay.
One of the other things I like about Printful, though, really quick, is their branding option. Whereas some of the articles, like for instance, some of the shirts are different qualities, of course, and then you have some of them. You have the options where you can place your own branding label on the inside. So I think that's a plus when it comes to promoting your brand as well. Back to some of my challenges. The disjointedness in my website functionality. I too, it's one of the things I have a challenge with, is understanding some of the financial piece when doing things online. I've looked up and kind of attempted to understand what they talk about Nexus and how that applies to me when you are selling things online.
Yeah.
And marketing. I like the story pieces. I think I have some stories to tell, but it's just I haven't gotten over that hump of reintroducing those stories and creating a sort of a portfolio of different stories that align with the vision and align with the concept of Freedom Hill brand as well. Yeah.
Tomorrow's guest speaker will be a good one for you to connect with. It's codethedream.org, Dan Rearick. I think they could help you process-wise on what put some of this together that you're trying to do, the integration and some of those things. I think I think everybody really should have an accountant or a bookkeeper, somebody who has some idea what's going on, because it is going to hold you back at some point if you don't know what the hell you're doing and you're making big mistakes or whatever. It's normal. I mean, that's what, you're not an accountant, and that would be normal. So, but do make it a priority to figure that out. And even among this group, maybe some folks here have an accountant or a bookkeeper. I know one in Greenville. I think he might be a little too expensive. He's got the largest accounting firm in Greenville, but he's an ECU grad, and he's offered to help. But I'm just a little bit worried he's a little too rich for everyone's blood. But I do encourage the bookkeeping part, making sure that's straight. And I think I like what you're doing with Printful. I think that I think you ought to settle on a way to tell your story, whether it's adding a blog to your website or how it's using Instagram or some other tool. But I would pick one and run with it and see how it goes. See if you can get the story out, the message out. I don't know enough about your target audience as to know like which social medias they like or go for, but I think that's the biggest thing is just make a decision you're going to do it and then, tell your stories. There is a piece of software that would help you. It's called Lumen 5, LUMEN 5.com. And you won't believe this, but one of the ways it works is you can write an article. You can just write an article anywhere, write it on a Word document, write it on a blog, and then you put that URL into Lumen 5, and it will create a video automatically off the content. It'll go out and find video, pictures, all using artificial intelligence. It takes about 5 minutes. You could do 10 stories in a half hour with this software, and then it creates a little video that you can then upload to social media, or it's just really cool. I really like it. Highly recommend it. It's cheap. The artificial intelligence aspect of it is finding relevant assets, relevant pictures, relevant videos that you have the permission to use, because that's always a problem. And the right colors, it does all that stuff automatically. So I think it's a good storytelling tool. We've in our previous class, we had about 3 or 4 of the class have used it. And one guy ended up getting, he used the video and sent it out by email to all the media in North Carolina, like all the little newspapers, and he was everywhere. He got in all kinds of places, even ended up in Iowa and Kansas, all kinds of places with his little story of opening up his farm business. So it does work, and creating content on a regular basis will build your audience. Even though it seems like, oh my God, I got to write another story. It does work, and people are constantly out there looking for, what it is that you're offering. So, content really does make a difference, and you can even do crazy stuff. I think I talked about one of the students we had in the first class, Simple and Sentimental. She every Sunday gives out brunch recipes. It has nothing to do with her business, and all these people tune in to her brunch videos, and she shares recipe for eggs. And it's just bizarre, but it works, and it introduces her to all kinds of new people all the time. So I think content creation is really a good idea if you can figure out how to do it, without it taking too much time. I personally am a terrible writer. Once I get going, I'm fine, but I just procrastinate like crazy until it's almost too late, and then I try to write something. So Lumen 5 will help you with that quite a bit. You can even enter scripts into it. You don't even have to have an article. You can enter in scripts, and the artificial intelligence will create a story from a script. So it's pretty cool. So Chris, I don't know if you can hear us. It looks like you're busy. I don't know if you want to talk about where you're at. I don't know if Chris can hear it. There he is.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I own downtown fresh market stores, and we own a storefront which carries nothing but got to be NC products, from fresh produce to canned, pickled type things. All of it comes from North Carolina. And we also farm and grow produce for our farm, which is shipped out on the wholesale side. And the storefront is really struggling right on. It's not, there's nothing happening. People aren't spending money.
That's in downtown Goldsboro, is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So what's your plan to address that? What are you thinking about at this point?
Well, we're going to try the door. We talked about the doors, next door, doorstep, whichever one it was called.
Doorstep market. Yeah.
Yeah, doorstep marketplace. Trying it. Well, I want to try it. I signed up for it. Everything went through. They were supposed to contact us back to get it set up. Nobody's contacted.
Okay. I'll check on that. Thanks for letting me know.
And so that's kind of where we're at on that. So it's kind of fell flat. I guess the only thing we're going to be able to do this year to try to bring people into the store is kind of what we done last year. We created a Christmas maze type thing, done a hayride downtown. It brought people in. I guess
Yeah.
we're going to have to do something. I don't know if it's going to be just something. I don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah, some kind of event, something that that'll bring people to your store. That, like you said, you had a Christmas maze. That's something that people will check out, I suppose.
Yeah, it was very profitable for us. But other than that, that's the only thing that's been profitable with the storefront.
Are you finding that the area where the store is generally down, or do you feel like it's just your store?
No, I think it's the whole area. My wife called me the other day and said, we only done X dollars, but there's been probably 35 people in here this morning.
Yeah.
It was like 2 Saturdays ago. I said, what I want you to do is step out on the sidewalk. I want you to count the people out there.
Yeah.
And I think she counted 17 or 18 folks at that time.
Right.
I said, tell me, how many of them's holding bags? And it was 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody's spending money.
Yeah.
They're coming down. They're coming to the historic downtown area. They'll walk, they'll look, and still going to their box stores to get whatever they need.
Yeah. Okay.
It makes no sense to me.
Anybody have any ideas for Chris? Any thoughts about improving the street traffic, the storefront traffic?
Do you have any A-frame signs or banners that you put out like during the weekends?
Oh yeah, we got A-frame signs outside the store, and we'll run a promotional once a week, or this past week or week before last, it was Teachers Appreciation Week, and we done a giveaway for that. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if our exposure on Facebook's fell off. I don't have any.
Do you have
Rivalry.
do you have an employee or someone that can stand outside and literally grab people off the sidewalk? Maybe have a platter of samples, or like,
With a
hey,
gun, right?
come check us out.
Well,
come inside.
Well, honestly, if I'm down there, that's what I do. If
Sure.
I'm there, I stand outside if I'm down there, and I kind of carve people right on in the door, and we can have a good day.
Right.
But I can't run a tractor. I can't run a combine. I can't run a farm and run a market also.
It's
And
funny
it's
how
just-
people respond to that too, because I used to have to go to a lot of conferences and nobody was coming to the booth, and I just started going out into the aisle and like, hey, come over here.
That's
kinda
right.
works.
You're absolutely right. It's interaction, but in today's world, people don't know how to interact.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years.
Yeah. Well, you got to find somebody that's a mini you, somebody who would get out there and hustle and talk to people, and and I know it's easier said than done, obviously, but I think that sounds like what you need is somebody that can help. I think this is an area in downtown Goldsboro, if you all have not been there, where millions of dollars have been spent to build this area up. It's beautiful. It's as nice as anywhere in the state, really. But they have a real problem attracting people down there. They're just not seeing the foot traffic that really it takes to support something like that. That's my perspective. I've been down there a couple times, just to look around, and I've just been struck at the low volume of people walking around, and maybe time of year, I don't know.
Is there a lot of residences down there, or is it mostly just commercial?
It's all
They're
commercial.
they're putting in some apartments. There's probably 20 apartments now in the downtown area over all the stores.
Do you have one of the things that we were learning from the ghost kitchens is they're having to go in and do partnerships with the large buildings, let's say in New York. If you want to deliver to that building, you've got to go through basically a trial and setup sequence where they understand that the people you're sending over are safe. They're not going to let just random people into their building every 5 minutes. Have you thought about doing some type of a delivery service, or going down for a meet and greet with these community buildings where you can promo your product line at usually they have small get-together events almost on a monthly basis?
Yes, but since the pandemic started, pretty much everything's come to a halt. So
Right.
you hadn't been able to meet with anybody. You hadn't been able to do anything. And so I'm
But you
hoping
chose
now
that to
that,
your advantage though, by saying, okay, you don't have to come out and meet us, we'll deliver to you.
yeah,
So
we've
you
tried
stay
that.
home, you stay safe.
Yeah, we've tried that.
Um,
It's-
No success.
yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't. Eastern North Carolina, and I think Dennis can vouch for this. Eastern North Carolina is just it's just different people in this society. I think it's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Oh, my sister used to live in Chicago. The people in Chicago, Illinois absolutely love North Carolina. And if Goldsboro is a destination point, maybe you would consider marketing to some of these larger metropolis areas, because people come to North Carolina just kind of as a thought, like, hey, stop by when you come to Goldsboro or on your way to the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, maybe some of Facebook groups in Chicago area or even DC. But I think there is a problem. There are some communities in Eastern North Carolina where you see foot traffic. New Bern is one where there's a fair amount. Wilmington, I think, sees a fair amount of traffic. I don't know about Little Washington. I've heard they have quite a bit of foot traffic as well. But that's really about it. A lot of these other places are dead as a doornail.
Yeah.
But,
Can I give you a suggestion?
Yeah.
With me DJing and doing music, over the years with US Cellular, some of the North Carolina voting board in small areas, in US Cellular, you know where Snow Hill is?
Oh yeah.
So when they had their launch of the iPhone and they had the launch of the Samsung S20, what they did was they had a customer appreciation day. And what they did was they promoted it on Facebook and social media as a party, had me come out and DJ and basically just had music tailored to those fans. So that day I was DJing mostly country music, which in that area, that was the clientele they were trying to promote to come out. So they were trying to promote mostly to the farmers and to the migrant workers to come get new phones. So they basically put out flyers, posters, and social media messaging, and then you hear the music, you hear me talking about it, and basically they had more people come to that store than they probably had all year from those two events.
Cool.
Well,
That
that's a
might be
great idea.
something.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I've actually got the Beach Boogie and Blues guy set up to come out on a Thursday evening in the next, I think it's about 3 weeks away. And we're going to do something like that, try to acquire and let him do. And I think it's going to be live on the radio also.
Okay.
Well, that's a great opportunity to really spread the word of your store. You ought to have some kind of special deal for first-time customer. I don't know how you manage that, but some kind of offer that
So we'll just give him free ice cream.
That'll work.
Well, that's something that you don't have it's not a high, it's not a lot of cost in it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And
Yeah,
I would love to come down, Chris, and do an interview with you on my radio station and put it up on my blog. I have 5,000 Facebook friends and my Twitter, my tag gets a lot of hits. So I would love to, anybody in here in the group that needs that type of exposure, I don't mind helping.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Sure. I'm game for that.
You guys, I'll make sure you have each other's contact information, but yeah, I think Branson can really help us with some of this location-based stuff. I don't know a damn thing about in person. I'll tell you, I know online stuff, but I'm not much on the in-person stuff. It's been a long time since I've worked in that space. So I think it's a great idea. Chris has an amazing store. It's really beautiful. He has that Simple Natural ice cream, whatever that brand is.
Yes.
So it's a well-known, popular brand, and he's just got a lot of really cool stuff. It's just a matter of awareness building and getting people maybe to make it a destination, to go down there. It's actually a great place to walk around. Real wide sidewalks. There's interesting little shops along there. There's just I don't know if Seymour Johnson has put it on some kind of blacklist, so their people don't go down there. I don't really understand why it's so dead, but it is dead. There's no
Well,
two ways about it.
honestly, Seymour Johnson has kind of put it on a blacklist. At some point, I don't know if it's been lifted or not, but at one time there was a few of them restaurants down there that they had some fights at, and people got hurt at, and Seymour Johnson's like, no, you don't go down there.
Maybe you need to visit the commander with a little basket of North Carolina goodies and say, you know, let me show you what I got for you here, Captain or Colonel, or wherever the hell you are. General.
Yeah, that's me. I'll be lost talking to them. Get me set up with them, Dennis. I'll be in there.
All right, man. I'll see if I got any pull. I'm just a private, but you never know.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right. Anyone else on that I'm not seeing on the program today that would like to enter in here? Okay. Tomorrow will be Code the Dream. This will be more on the technical side as far as getting help with projects you might have, ideas you might have. This guy's a great guy, Dan Rarick. It's a good organization to know, even if you don't have anything currently that you need. It's a great relationship to have and be aware of. And they work throughout Eastern North Carolina. And they work with people from these little towns. They teach them how to be full stack developers, and which is really cool. So they end up getting jobs, you know, all over the place. So it's a great story. I think it can help a lot of us as well. So thanks everybody for sharing your challenges, and whatever links I'm supposed to send out, I'll send out.
Dennis, Sherry and I spoke a couple weeks ago, pretty much in depth, and I tried to get her to push your program.
She did.
Yeah, so she told me she thought you were coming to some speaking.
Yeah, I'm going to speak on June 23rd to their meeting, and she put it in the Got to Be NC newsletter, and I've got a ton of people that emailed me and said they want information on our accelerator and on doorstep markets. So it's kind of cool. Thank you.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah, she mentioned your name to me, and I said, yeah, I know that guy.
Good deal. Good deal.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thank y'all.
Take care.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.